Hello, guys. We are waiting a few minutes. Maybe more people will be connected and we'll start like 1-2 minutes. While we are waiting, maybe it will be great to know each other. So where are you from? Can you write maybe your country? Or put plus if you hear me, or minus if no. Okay, no reaction. Okay, great. Brazil, it's good time now. I'm in London. Okay, Canada. Okay, cool, great. UK, Europe, Atlanta, good. Ukraine, great. Yeah, I just wanted to know, does it late for you? Does it fine? Or India? Yeah, I know that for India it's quite late, but I'm happy that you join us today. Turkey for person, London, cool. Okay. Turkey. Okay, I'm currently in Sweden, so more close to UK in a time zone. Okay, good, great. Okay, I think 4 minutes, so actually we can start. Today I will talk you about cost optimization. I have tried to make it like not too technical, not too business, so it will be somewhere average. Let's see how it will go on. Any specific question you can write in the comments. I will answer them after the translation. Oh, sorry, after my presentation. What else I wanted to say you? Okay. One more stuff is I have tried to give you examples and direction how to make the cost optimization, but of course it will really depend on your architecture. So I will try to give you more examples as possible. If something specific, write comments. Maybe if we will have time, we can check it together after my presentation. If no, maybe you can connect me directly in email and we can see your situation. Okay, let's start. A little bit about myself. So I work as CTO in the big company. On this position, I'm around 6 years and work with AWS also around this time. Generally in IT, I about 10 years. So during this time, I get a lot of experience with in different situations, with different scenarios, architectures, customers, requirements. So today I will share with you what I have get during this experience. I really hope that you will find something useful. Okay, let's go. So we are start. We will start. Here I prepare some schema which show you the first step that you can use to make the cost optimization in AWS. This it will depend on impact and on complexity. So we will go through the steps one by one to make it clear in case something is not familiar for you. So first of all is S3. Most of the projects use S3 for file storage, for, I don't know, dump storage, for some logs. So that's why S3 we will talk about S3 with different perspective today. And first of all is which to use, regular S3 or in frequency access. And I have prepared some charts here for you to compare the prices different. Standard one, I think maybe you are used in everyday life. So when we need access to some files each day, but sometimes we can have files which we don't need access every day. So it could be, for example, some old videos of, some old file. It can be some backups, so which you maybe not use or use very rare, but you still need to store it for historical or for old user or for such purposes. So here is the example. You see that if we will use standard S3, it will cost around $3,000. If we will go with standard plan, it will cost almost quite cheaper. But if we will go with one time zone, it will be more cheaper. So in case you will have some more rare scenarios, pay attention that you can save money on this frequent access plan. Next one is more connected to the project itself and files. So prepare, delete unnecessary files, especially IDLG usually adds some specific files which connected to it. Don't forget to delete them, add to git ignore if they are not needed, because they can take a lot of space and memory. Now they are smaller than before, but still. And when you create some service, don't forget to clear your resources, so you will use only that space or only that only that space that needed. So clean your files, prepare your space. Next one, which need more impact but still not very complex, is enterprise program and saving plans. We will not cover it very deep today. I don't really work with it a lot, but the main idea that it's exchange commitment for discount. So they give you discount for your commitment. If it will be interesting, we can talk about it on some other workshop. And now let's go to the more complex stuff. And this it's scheduling and it's RIS. And let's go to the scheduling and when you can use it. I hope if you don't use it, I really recommend to do it. So as example, we have development team who work from 8 to 6. And of course, and they don't work in weekend. So we can stop our servers on that period of time. Of course, production still need to work on this time, but staging will save you half of your budget for staging environment. Next one is the reserved instance. So how work AWS? Yes, they have resources, and in their interest to sell you resources for more longer period of time. And actually that's it. You buy some space or some servers for a longer period of time, and in this case you get some discount, and you get more discount if you make some prepayment. Other one is more complex, is when you make some architecture difference. And about these items like spot, serverless, autoscale, we will talk about a little bit later in few slides. Next, I want to talk about which tool you can use to manage your budget and understand actually does it appropriate price, or you don't use all resources. And first of all, what I recommend is give access to the billing to your team or to your team members, because when you create new service, it will not be just something like in the cloud. It just not will be a button. It will be the service which costs something, and developer or DevOps will understand it, and we'll think, do we need use, for example, large instance, or it makes sense to use medium instance because it's more cost effective. And of course, from which tool to start is Cost Explorer. It's belong to billing service, and it will show you all items that you have and for which you pay for, one by one. So you see which service and which price you pay. And to start optimize, of course, is better from the highest price. So you see all prices and all services, and you just select 3 or 5 the most expensive and start investigate them deeper, you or your team, based on what are the roles. And okay, you select some service and you need to understand, okay, what we can optimize it. First of all, you can try this computer optimizer, which belongs to AWS, and how it helps. So it actually will show you just directly what can you do cheaper. So it will show, for example, here, it's not very clear, but I hope you see. So in the first row, you see that it's use what is the number? M2 medium, and this costs 0.07, if I'm not wrong. And AWS said that, okay, you can use more cheaper plan. You can use 3T medium, and this will cost you 0.02, if I'm not wrong. So anyway, it's provide you information about how much does it cost now, which one you can use, and it's also provide you information how much you can save. Just do it wisely. So don't just follow this tool. You need to understand, so okay, why now I use this instance? Maybe it makes sense. Maybe you have some I don't know, marketing strategy which will bring you a lot of new users, and it makes sense for you to use a big instance because you know that more traffic will came. So it's good to start, but still you need to understand, are you really want to apply this advice, or you have some other plans? Okay, next one is AWS budget. So yeah, it's a great tool to understand. For example, you need to plan. Yeah, anyway, you need to understand, okay, next month I expect to spend, I don't know, $1,000 because I spent the same amount last month. And you can put this amount, and if it will go upper, you will get alarm. And in this case, you will know that, okay, I need to make deeper investigation. And you will do this investigation before the months finish and before you get a bill that, okay, the amount, I don't know, twice bigger, for example. You can create different budgets. For example, you have different for staging, different for production, different for pre, or you can create this budget based on a lot of different condition, tags, resources type, flexible tool. Okay, next one, which you also, it will be great to pay attention, it's CloudWatch. Very common tool, does not really belong to the billing itself, but it provides a lot of metrics. It monitors the log files, creating resources alarms, and even can make some automatic reaction if any changes happen in AWS resources. And here's an example. You can set up alarm if CPU usage of your EC2 instance go below 20%. So you get alarm. Of course, you need to investigate it manually. but it's good sign. So you pay for 100%. Why you use 20%? Yeah, something happened. Need investigation. Need look to it more deeper. Okay, here was the tool which you can use for investigate your budget. Do you use any of them already? Are you familiar? Any of them was new for you? If you can share something, it will be great to get your feedback. Okay, I will check it after. It's great if something was new for you. Okay, next I want to talk a little bit about the general architecture approach which you can use, and when you build it or maybe already use, you can optimize it. And first of all, I want to talk about networking. And here actually the main point. The main point is that if you will transfer data between inside same region and inside the same availability zone, you will not pay for this traffic transfer if you will use private IP. So if you use your customers or your users inside, I don't know, one location or one country, or like it's not worldwide, it's really save your money. Price become higher if you will use same region, I don't know, some Europe, for example, but different availability zone. We will check the price different between different availability zone a little bit later. But here is like how much you will pay for traffic. So you will pay around 0.01, and it's if you will use private IP. But if you will use public IP, it will cost you twice more expensive. And okay, and if you will want to send data between different regions, it will cost you as well, like 0.02. It does not only belong to, for example, EC2 instances. It's also connected to the database. So the most common case is when you create a replica, make it in same region. Even in some availability zone. Okay, next one is about what is better, to have everything inside AWS cloud or split it between different, I don't know, clouds or different servers, like inside and outside AWS. And actually answer is better to have everything in AWS. This will be cheaper. So if you have database, which, for example, you will get 100 megabytes out of that database and transfer it to your corporate data center, like 100 megabytes. But finally, user will get only 50 kilobytes. So you will pay for 100 megabytes traffic. So it will be much more cheaper to move your application which make all this calculation inside the AWS. In this case, you will not pay at all for traffic transfer between database application, or it just will be cheaper based on locations that you select. But the main point is that to the user, finally, you will pay only for 50 kilobytes. So one like other way of optimization. Yeah. So a little bit about S3 bucket. Yeah, we talk about the different cases, so you can select frequently request on just a regular S3. And here I would like to talk a little bit about caching and the speed. So if you will send data directly from S3 to the internet, it will cost you about 0.9 per gigabyte. But it's slow. So to add some speed, make it faster, one of the options is use transfer acceleration. And yeah, it will give you speed, but it costs extra money, and it will cost additionally from 0.4 to 0.8. But there is other solution, and this other solution is CloudFront. I think it's like quite famous, I would say, and very common used resource. But what the most interesting is that you don't pay when you send data from S3 to CloudFront. You pay only for when you send data out, like from the CloudFront. And here is the and if you pay attention to the slide, it will be cheaper. Like if you will send data directly from S3, it costs 0.09. If you will send data from CloudFront, it will cost you 0.085. So small number, but in big amount of traffic, you will feel the difference. And also don't forget that S3, if you will make a replica and with cross region, it's the same principle work as before. So you will pay 0.02 because of cross region. Yeah, I think let's go further. Here's I want to compare two approaches: is use NAT gateway or gateway VPC endpoint. Also, here is one way of optimization. So if you will use NAT gateway, you can see how many calculations we need. So we will need, we will pay 0.45 for NAT gateway. We will pay 0.045 for data proceed, and like additional cost for S3, yeah, 0.09. If put everything together, it's not a small amount. But if instead you will use gateway to VPC, you will need to pay only for that data transfer, and it's cost about 0.01. So I don't know. I can calculate the difference, but yeah, it's have significant difference in the price, and result actually will be the same. So yeah, this is 4 points which I wanted to pay your attention. It's network, S3, gateway, and something else. And network. Yeah, networking. Okay. And I want, I would say it's the last part which I want to talk a little bit about other services and other approaches that you can use. It's like more about re-architecture and design for cost. So what else we can use? About EC2, before I have been talking about dedicated instance, and in most cases, so what we have dedicated, we have on-demand, and we have spot. And spot, it's when AWS have some resources which nobody use, and for them, it makes more sense to sell it for you with big discount than don't send at all. But what is like bad case in this scenario is that you in any moment AWS can get these resources from you. So you take some server, run some, I don't know, function, some script or so on, and it can just stop proceed. So that's why in one hand you will save money, in other hand you can just not get the results that you expect. So that's why you need to think about some specific scenario, about some specific example when you can use it. In my experience, it mostly was some scraping when we need to, and it was not critical for us to get data in real time. So it was okay for us. Will we go have the data now, or I don't know, after 1 hour, or even after 1 day? And also we use such instances for some big calculation, which also wasn't in real time. So in my case, it was this kind of scenarios. If you use it and you have other scenarios, it will be great if you will share. I'm also interested to get your opinion. Okay, second one, it's use S3 as web hosting. Yeah, so we need front end, like in all cases. And especially when you use, I don't know, React, Vue.js, Angular, all these frameworks finally give you some build which have, like, I don't know, few static files. And for the static files, rent EC2 is not really optimal. So hosting with S3, really great option, especially if you have domain in AWS. It just, in my case, it's sometimes difficult to explain customer how to configure domain name when you need to, like when domain is not stored on AWS, but it's more like technical details and your communication with customer. Okay, next one is deliver content with AWS, CloudFront, and caching. Yeah, I have been talking about it a little bit like before. So yeah, CloudFront is not only cheaper, but also like faster because it provides you caching. And if you will use it together with like with S3 as hosting, you can also add their certificates, because S3 does not provide you certificates, SSL, I mean, but with CloudFront you can do it. Next one is DynamoDB. Yeah, it's relational, not relational database that created by AWS, and they very interesting that you use it. So they give very like good prices if compared with MongoDB. Of course, you need to check like how many requests are you doing, and of course you need to calculate it based on your project. But when you just start, you can do it research and check DynamoDB as an option. And yes, you have auto scaling, so if you need more resources, you can scale it more quicker. And also we use auto scaling, for example, with cost optimization when we have few servers, and based on some condition we can increase amount of servers, or decrease amount of servers. So also like decrease the cost, because you pay only for what you use, I would say. Okay, serverless and Lambda. Yeah, it's other approach of architecture. This means that you don't have dedicated server. Yeah, you run function like on the request. So when request came, function made all the process, and then it deleted. In most cases, like based on statistic, it's saved from 50 to 70%. On my practice, it haven't saved so much, but it still depends on like amount of requests, amount of users that you have, and again, based on architecture. But the main point is take it in your mind when you create some solution. Okay, ELB to application load balancer. Yeah, so before AWS had ELB as load balancer service, and not so far along, like not long time ago, they create a new service which called application load balancer, and it's much cheaper. Like in their descriptions, they said that it's more difficult with configuration. In my practice, it's not really, the difference is not too big. But if check the prices, 1 minute, I have, it's not on the slide, but I have different in the prices. So ELB cost 0.25 and ALB cost 0.22. So again, not big, but good point to take in mind, especially if you have old application. Maybe it makes sense to move to new load balancer. Containerization is very great. So it's more we're talking about Docker. I think if there are any backend developer, you use it everywhere a lot. And it's very good work with combination with dedicated host. So you of course there is some risk. So if server will not work, all your services will not work. But in other case, you can split your server and give access to specific team, to specific user, only what they need. And yeah, it's very, very quick to run and deploy, and also move from one server to other server. So of course, finally will decrease user cost not only for service itself, but also for DevOps engineer who will do this work. Okay, and I want to share some more statistics about sorry, it's about different how prices are changed based on region. So here is some example which have been, it's prices for the instance. So here is some examples. So we have instance which have 20 gigabyte of AWS SSD storage. Each instance have received like 100 gigabytes per month from the GLB and send 1 terabyte per month. So based on this scenario, there are some statistics. And actually, what the statistics show, it shows that don't use San Paulo region. It's very expensive, and really it's recommended to use it only if you have users in that location or you have some specific requirements to use specific this one. Yeah, let's go. I have a little bit different. It's not about prices, it's more about percentage, so it's easier to understand the difference. So if you check, the most cheap is USA. If you talk about Europe, so Stockholm is the cheapest one, 6%. And if compare, for example, with Paris, which also in Europe, the difference is 11%. So yeah, it's also good to know about this statistic, because based on it, you can select which region will be more cheaper and maybe close to your final customer. Yeah, and actually this is what I wanted to share with you, and I think it's a good time to have a questions. And I see some comments. No comments. Okay, if anybody have any question, just let me know. While I'm waiting for them, I just want to ask you to follow me on the LinkedIn. If something specific, you can write me by email. I more or less check it every day. And of course, follow our LinkedIn group. We'll be very happy to see you there. And also, I want. Sorry, just check the comments. Yeah, and also I wanted to introduce our next topic, which we will talk about is sorry, it's strategy for moving your service from one cloud to other cloud, or from your corporate data center to the cloud. I have found it very not common, but a lot of cases in Europe. Okay, great. Let's see. Any management tools apart from... no, I don't use any service. Actually, I think AWS provide a lot of statistic and analytic insight. So I haven't seen such, but if anybody use some, it will be great to share. It's also interesting for me. Any document for cost of AWS. Document how to save. It's really depend on the architecture. So what we will share this presentation, so you can check the slides which I have shown. I think it more or less have that items where you need to pay attention, but there are no like a checklist created. I can think about it. Maybe until like next presentation, I will create something. It's quite interesting idea. Yeah, I think you can follow the link in the LinkedIn group, and I will create the list and maybe share with you. So I don't have such, but I think it's good point to make some. Okay. Okay, then thank you everybody for attention. Have a nice evening, daytime, and follow us in the LinkedIn. See you.